Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hello Word, your daily dose of English vocabulary. I'm your host, Alex, and I'm thrilled to have you join me today as we explore another fascinating word. Today's word is drum. So, what exactly is a drum? Well, in simple terms, a drum is a musical instrument, often cylindrical or bowl-shaped, that you hit with your hands or sticks to produce sound. Think of a rock band with a drum kit, or a marching band with snare drums and bass drums. That's the general idea. It's a percussion instrument, meaning it's played by striking it. We use the word drum in everyday language to describe both the instrument itself and the act of playing it. For example, you might say, "He's a very talented drum player," or "I can hear the drum beating in the distance." Let's explore some synonyms for drum. One synonym is percussion. While percussion is a broader term encompassing all instruments played by striking, shaking, or scraping, it can certainly be used in place of drum in some contexts. For example, the band featured a strong percussion section. Another synonym, though less direct, is tabor, which refers to a small drum often used in medieval music. You might read something like, "The minstrel played a lively tune accompanied by a tabor." We could also use descriptive terms depending on the type of drum, such as snare. For example, the snare was tuned very tightly. Let's now look at antonyms, which are words with opposite meanings. This is where it gets a little tricky because drum refers to a specific type of musical instrument. It doesn't really have a direct antonym. However, we can think of instruments that are played in a completely different way, producing sound through different means. For example, a stringed instrument like a guitar or a violin could be considered an antonym in the sense that it's not a drum. She played a beautiful melody on her stringed instrument, in contrast to the loud drum solo we heard earlier. Similarly, a wind instrument like a flute or a trumpet could be considered an antonym. The orchestra featured both a powerful wind instrument section and a dynamic drum section. Another antonym could be silence. While not an instrument, silence is the opposite of the sound a drum makes. For example, after the loud drum solo, there was a moment of complete silence. Now, let's explore how the word drum is used in everyday life. You might hear someone say, "He's always drumming his fingers on the table," which means he's tapping his fingers rhythmically like he's playing a drum, often out of boredom or impatience. We also have the expression "beat the drum for," which means to promote or advocate for something enthusiastically. For example, the company is beating the drum for its new product. You might also hear someone say, "The sound of the drum was deafening." This simply means the sound of the drum was very loud. Here are some more usage examples of drum in sentences and phrases. The band's drummer is incredibly talented. She learned to play the drums at a young age. The drum solo was the highlight of the concert. He could hear the distant beat of a drum. The rhythm of the drum was hypnotic. They used a large drum in the traditional ceremony. The drum kit included a snare drum, a bass drum, and several tom-toms. The marching band's drums echoed through the streets. She practiced her drumming every day. I bought a new pair of drumsticks. The children were happily banging on their toy drums. The sound of the drum woke him up at 6 a.m. He set up his drum kit in the garage. The drum circle created a sense of community. The drum major led the band with confidence. The concert started with a powerful drum roll. She listened to the tribal drums on the radio. The drum lesson was very informative. He carried the drum on his shoulder. The African drums had a unique sound. She recorded the drum track for her new song. The drum machine created a complex rhythm. The band rehearsed their drumming patterns. The sound engineer adjusted the drum levels. He tuned the drum carefully. The drum was made of animal skin. The drum player was wearing headphones. The music featured heavy drum beats. The drum rhythm was infectious. The performance included a traditional drum dance. They sold their old drum online. The drum sound was amplified through the speakers. He replaced the drum head. The drum instructor was very patient. The children made their own drums from recycled materials. The drum solo lasted for 5 minutes. The drum circle met every Wednesday at 7 p.m. He recorded the drum performance in a studio at 8 p.m. The band's drummer started playing when he was 10 years old. The rhythm from the drum gave her a headache. The drum major asked the band to do the song again. He replaced the drum head with a new one at 11 a.m. The new drum player joined the band at 2 p.m. In conclusion, today we learned that a drum is a musical instrument that you hit to produce sound. We explored synonyms like percussion, tabor, and snare, and considered stringed instrument, wind instrument, and silence as antonyms. We also looked at how the word drum is used in everyday language and saw numerous examples of its use in sentences. Thank you for joining me on Hello Word. Now, before you go, I have a small request. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your support helps others find the show, allowing us to reach more English language learners. Finally, I encourage you to create your own sentence using the word drum and share it as a comment below this episode. I can't wait to read your creative sentences.
See you next time.